Hello all sentient beings and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this episode of Transmissions, we are joined by Epyk Suicide as we check out how the ToyRobot Magazine Kickstarter is coming along. We look at Transformers Earthrise Deluxe, Trailbreaker, and Sunstreaker, and Jada Toys shows off their Nano Transformers. Today is Wednesday, March 4th, 2020, and this is episode 371 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that voted for Megatron on Super Tuesday. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Yusuf, better known as Yoshi.
Yo!
Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, who was that?
Right.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hey, Happy New Year, Yoshi.
How's it going?
Let's talk Transformers.
All right, and we have a very special guest joining us. Daryl, would you please introduce our special guest?
Yeah. You may remember this person from a previous podcast called Transmissions. It's Yoshi.
I still do all the intros.
That's true. No, I'm kidding. Our guest today is Epyk Suicide, and you might remember her from a previous Transmissions Extra that I did with her, and we talked about all the things that she's into collecting-wise and her modeling and all kinds of cool stuff, and it was about an hour or so. Go back and check it out if you haven't yet. So, welcome back to the show, Epyk.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No problem.
All right, and Epyk, you've already gotten set up and everything, so settle back. It's going to be a long evening. Sorry.
All right, no worries.
But we're going to have fun. So
okay. Sounds good.
Talk lots of toys, comics, media, all that stuff. All right. So we start off the show, as always, by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you so much for continuing to support the show and helping us to keep it going. And if you are not already a Donatreon and would like to join up, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And that's where you can sign up either on Patreon or PayPal, and that'll help the show out. You can also help us out if you buy merchandise from our TeePublic store, and that is at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And you can get lots of shirts, other mugs, items with Transmissions logos on them. You can also buy lots.
Hey, number one, Derek wanted to know when we'd be offering body pillows.
I'll leave that up to you, Yoshi. You could. He asked for your body pillow specifically. So
the double-sided ones, of course.
Exactly.
Wow. Right off the bat, she come out swinging. Love it.
Yeah, so check out Yoshi's body pillow at transmissionspodcast.com/shop.
Oh, now the fan mail's coming in.
Yeah, I'm not sure if TeePublic is doing body pillows just yet.
You can also check out our friend of the show, K-Girl. Her shop is at teepublic.com/user/superstark. She just has art designs and shirts there. That's all.
I would like to say someone used our link to buy something like on TeePublic that was not ours, but thank you for whoever did that. That was still awesome.
Yeah, whatever you buy, as long as you use our link, that helps the show out. So thank you. All right, another perk of being a Transmissions Donatreon is that you are automatically entered into our monthly Toy Hacks $10 gift code drawing. And we are going to do the February drawing tonight. So we've got lots of people signed up. Jeremy, are you ready? Is your lovely assistant ready to help us out?
Computer, are you ready?
I'm ready when you are.
All right. So if we could have a number between 1 and 87.
Computer, give me a random number between 1 and 87.
Your random number between 1 and 87 is 59.
That one's not me.
Tom B. Long.
Nice. All right.
Congratulations, Tom.
He's no longer an employee of IDW.
That's right.
Tom B. Long, congratulations. You are getting a $10 gift code, so you can get some stickers to apply to your Transformers.
Or 6-foot long Millennium Falcons.
Tom B. Long, longtime letterer of Transformers IDW Comics, recently moved on to greener pastures, but we miss him. Congratulations. Longtime supporter of Transmissions, too. All right. Last thing before we get into the toy talk. Empire of Rust, episode 18, is out right now. How high does the metal kite fly? So this is our Transformers RPG live podcast done by our editor and producer, Mike Ordway, and his team. So check it out at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. Episode 18 was just released this Monday, so should already be in your feeds if you're subscribed to the main Transmissions feed. So check it out. All right, we've got toys to talk about, so let's start it off.
All right, and first up this week, I wanted to give a quick update on our friends over at ToyRobot Magazine who are running their edited or relaunched Kickstarter. And this one here is, we talked about it a bit. We've got a new Kickstarter goal, and they are closing in on their on the end of their Kickstarter time period. They were looking for... what is it here? $20,000 US. There is 7 days left, and they are still a little short. They're at $7,861 pledged. They've got 134 backers right now, which is, that's nothing to shy away from. But let's get some more people backing them here. 7 days to go. Remember, this is for full color magazines coming to your house, talking about Transformers and other robots. It'll be really, really cool. So take a look. If it's something that you're interested in, now's the time to start thinking about backing it. Okay. And
Daryl, when this show is up, there'll only be 4 days left.
That's right. So even less. act now.
Done.
Did you just do it?
As you were talking.
All right. I'm going to refresh the page. Oh, wow. You pledged 10 grand?
What? No.
Oh, okay. No. So if you're looking at that, we've got links in the show notes. Go take a look. And they've got it. They've re-edited all the stuff. There's even deals for people outside of the U.S. So if you're in Canada or if you're overseas and you're looking and you're like, shipping's gonna be a bitch, they've figured that out, and they've got it down to a pretty reasonable price. This is what is it? They're advertising it here on the page that it's going to be only about $8.83 per issue within the U.S. That's, yeah, for a regular magazine, that's a little high. Not like crazy high. That's just a little bit more than what you usually would pay. But these guys are just starting. Like, that's really quite good, for a startup here. And I'm pretty impressed with this. So yeah, let's help them out. My actual toy topic, though, is finishing off something that I've personally been following just to see how it would look and all that stuff. This is Devil Savior and their prototype images for Paranoider and Bomber. This is DS-701A and DS-701B. These are Revenge of the Fallen Hightower and Yellow Bulldozer. I guess they stopped being creative after Hightower. But yeah, so they've got a couple of these are their last guys because the Devil Savior Devastator is only 7 figures, whereas the Studio Series is 8. So these are the last 2 figures needed for that. They call him Troublemaker is their Devastator name, and this one is a little, well, it works in 2 modes. It works for its alt mode, which is a bulldozer, and it works in the arm mode, which is pretty crazy, But if you want to make the robot mode, it's weird. It's a 3-legged robot mode. It's got chains, which is kind of cool. But I think the real winner here is just they actually make the arm mode of this thing look pretty damn cool. It does combine with High Tower and Yellow Bulldozer combine in their alt modes to form some kind of big construction vehicle. But yeah, the real meat and potatoes of this is the actual arm mode of their Devastator, which is called Troublemaker. I do have another topic, which is literally just the fully combined image of their Devastator, called Troublemaker, like I said, and most of it's in prototype. You'll notice if you look at the pictures of their Devastator, he has testicles. So they are going for full on-screen accuracy here, and I believe they've achieved it. But again, this is a third-party company, their first outing over at Devil Savior. We've been following all of these figures as they've been coming out, and they look fantastic. Let's throw it over to our guest Epyk. What do you think of this? The full figure of Troublemaker here, and the bits and pieces that they just put out, the High Tower and Yellow Bulldozer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's neat that they were able to actually create these and stuff, but I have personally always hated this rendition of Devastator. I just think it's so mangled looking. I mean, it's super cool that, like I said, that the way they got everything to connect and transform and stuff is super awesome, but yeah, I just have no desire to get this guy or care about him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, that's perfectly, okay feeling. A lot of people share it. Yeah, I think I kind of feel the same way. It's just, it's a Devastator for me. So I kind of feel I got to chase it down. Not this particular company one. I'm getting the Studio Series one, but the fact that it's a gigantic figure that's being made in Studio Series. And that's just crazy, right?
Yeah. No, for sure.
Charles, what's your thoughts on Troublemaker here in his completed state?
Epyk stole my answer. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. I'm also not a fan of this Devastator. It does. I mean, I can appreciate the engineering skill it takes to pull this off. I mean, the movie design is pretty horrendous, so to actually get that in physical form is difficult. I do like the little chains. I guess that's cool. Those are little pieces, little touches that you won't get in like a mainline Hasbro figure, because those are safety hazards for little kids and things. So it's nice to add those things. And yeah, testicles, woohoo, great. Yay for movie accuracy.
Mike, I will need a copy of him saying that.
But yeah, that's fine. Not for me, but for all the Revenge of the Fallen fans out there, enjoy.
Yoshi, it's been a while since we've gotten your comments on a lot of this stuff. Taking a look.
I don't know how to podcast anymore.
Yeah, it's okay, man. You stick with me. I'll walk you through it. It's this is the fully combined form of Troublemaker, their Devastator. Can you take your eyes off the testicles, or are they just drawing you right in?
Let's look. If they decided to make the executive decision to release this figure without testicles, the internet would be filled with his testicles just haven't dropped yet jokes. This is what would have happened. So they were screwed either way as far as this is concerned. You know what? To sound like a broken record and echo everyone, it's live action Transformers. I really have no love for these things. What I will say is, for those fans who are fans of this and are going to get this, The red guy being the only completed one, I assume. His paint job is phenomenal. I really like how he looks. They get an A+ for me as far as painting that sucker up. And I imagine once the other guys are at a prototype and painted officially, they're also going to look really well and mix in well with the red guy. But it's just not for me, Daryl.
No, and that's cool. There are two figures here, at least two figures that I can identify that are painted up here. You've got their Mixmaster and their Scavenger. Mixmaster being
but
head,
they don't
right?
have the dirt detail unless I'm just looking at a wrong picture.
Or you can really be excused for not being able to differentiate.
Yeah,
between the two figures
exactly. The Mixmaster is the one with the dirt detail on the wheels. But they all actually have it. Like there's the caterpillar treads. If you look at the picture from him on his back, you see the caterpillar treads with the dirt detail. Like they've done a lot of paint work on this guy, and that's right. I mean, this is third party. They're gonna get a little bit of a more premium, package with it, but it's definitely they do. It looks good. So yeah. But Jeremy, your hot take on this big behemoth.
Well, I want to go back to the actual the Paranoider and Bomber. I'm just
okay.
The vehicle mode you said looked okay. I have never seen a bulldozer with 3 sections. It's just I don't know. The alt mode just doesn't do it for me.
Right. Okay. So
I mean, I understand why they had to do it, but it's just.
I'm giving him a little bit of creative liberties with that because of...
You can find some other way to hide those middle sections there. But also the chains are going to get twisted together. It's going to get lost. I don't know. I don't know if I ever remember another figure having an actual chain, and how will that affect transformation?
Right.
Just getting caught. It just seems like it would be more of a pain to deal with in the long run. The combined mode, I think, it looks screen accurate, so it has that going for it. Like Yoshi said, the paint's great. It is not a figure I'm interested in at all.
All right, well, that was it for me this week. I just had the one real topic or toy that I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to throw it over to Epyk. What did you find this week that you wanted to talk about?
All right, I have a very small topic. Jada, not sure how they say that. They, at the Toy Fair, announced the release of the Transformers Nano Hollywood Rides new packs that they're going to be bringing out in the spring. They were going to have a G1 pack that'll have the Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Starscream, but then also a Last Night pack that'll have Optimus Prime, Hot Rod, and Crosshairs. And then in the fall, they're looking to release another G1 pack with Jazz, Sideswipe, and Jetfire, which I'm pretty excited about that. And then another movie pack in the fall as well from the 2007 movie with Ironhide, Barricade, and one other figure. And these guys I think are really cool. They're nano and tiny and super sweet. And I got myself the first pack. It's the Last Night 3-pack that they came out in last year. But unfortunately, my Optimus Prime, who all he's done is sit on a shelf, has already fallen apart. So hopefully, I don't know why it would do that. I don't know if they'll be better quality or if I just got a crappy one. But I am excited. They have a picture of their Starscream, Bumblebee, and Optimus Prime in here in the package, and then the other ones were just they have the photos of them, of what they're thinking of what they'll do for them. But yeah, that was just those being announced at Toy Fair. I'm pretty excited and keep an eye out for them.
Mm-hmm. How did it fall apart?
The front wheels, there's I think we ended up gluing it back together, but the plastic part, I don't know, it cracked around where is that a screw? Yeah, that's got a pin holding it in, and the plastic, I guess, just cracked around it, and then the wheel just fell out and stuff. And so it's just really weird because it's not like I was roughhousing with it. But yeah, it was pretty bummed. But it's all glued back together, and the wheels do still spin, so it's not complete loss. It's just disappointing.
So when I saw this image, my eye immediately went to the Jetfire in the second G1 pack because that is just a gorgeous mold, and it's caused some controversy over the years because of Harmony Gold holds the license to essentially that image of that character. So, something must have legally happened to allow them to do this.
Yeah.
But my other question, that comes to mind is, this is Hasbro kind of, it's a license that they've given out to Jada Toys, but doesn't Hasbro own Micro Machines? That's my,
That was Galoob. Did they
oh
buy
yeah.
Galoob?
So I'm like, these
why?
are literally just Micro Machines. Why don't you just put them under the Micro Machine name? But what's Jada Toys? So they may have just, Jada Toys may have just licensed these cars and produced their own Micro Machines, I'm guessing.
Well, is Micro Machines still around? Like, are they still marketing them?
Yes.
Oh, the brand got killed in the early 2000s, but they keep bringing them back for every, whenever they want to make something this scale.
Maybe they'd rather like just take the license fee and not put any effort into maybe they thought Transformers Micro Machines wouldn't sell like enough to justify making a subline, and said just let Jada Toys do it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, and in the chat here, DJ Ronan makes a good point. It looks like it's a picture of the actual toys,
Yes.
not the Nano figures.
Yeah, because I was going to mention that too, because I'm looking at the Starscream picture, and you can see through the cockpit window there, and it's got the landing gear and stuff. And on the toy that you can see on the countertop here, the window is just painted yellow, and there seems to be like a little bump on the bottom where the landing gear could be. So it's an edited version.
But that was all I had.
We have some news from Flame Toys, some pictures for their upcoming sets. Starting off with Leo Prime, these are just drawn images. It's Leo Convoy. He's got a cape, which instantly makes a figure more awesome. He has a sword. This looks like a really nice version of Leo Prime. More pictures of the Optimus Primal, which we saw last week, and I still think looks amazing. We have the Fallen, which has some orange flame bits. And that's going to be coming in December. Ultra Magnus IDW version. This is just a white IDW version Optimus Prime. It is not Ultra Magnus from the IDW universe. But it's like the white Prime, blue faceplate. That's just literally all they did. And then Victory Leo, which combines to form Victory Saber with their Star Saber. So, and that's also going to be December. And then Bumblebee Red version, essentially, I think it's Cliff Jumper, but it's Bumblebee Red version in June, and that is all of these. I don't know. I'm kind of excited about where they're going with some of these, trying to get some of these obscure Japanese stuff out here. Epyk, have you done any of these Flame Toys kits?
I have not yet. I do have a handful on my list that I want to get someday for sure. I think they're super awesome. Where are these, like this Leo Prime and stuff? Did you say those like just Japanese?
Yeah, it's from Japanese, I think Beast Wars Second or Beast Wars Neo. I can't remember what series, but they did. Our Beast Wars show came over later in Japan, and they did some animated series kind of with the Beast characters, so they could have something to put out with toys.
All right.
And Japanese continuity is just it's insane.
Yeah. No, I think these figures are super cool, though. I like that you can take the Star Saber and Victory Leo and combine them. That to me is super sweet.
And that's what the actual original toys did.
Oh, awesome.
Daryl, what do you think of these?
I like them. I gotta I gotta pick and choose which ones of these I'm gonna get. The Leo Prime is very cool, and if it actually does come with like soft goods, then that really does make me want to get it. The Beast Wars, Optimus Primal is, he's cool, he's beefy, and he looks awesome. That's not really the kind of shelf of these I want to make, so I'd probably steer away from that. The Ultra Magnus I have it in Optimus Prime form. The Fallen I don't know, I don't like it that much. And the Bumblebee red version, I don't know, I don't like when they do that. If you're going to make a cliff jumper, just make a cliff jumper.
Yeah, the head is still Bumblebee's head.
Yeah. The Star Saber and Victory Leo, I wish I had the cash for the actual model, like the figure ones here, because I mean, the Star Saber's out already. He's like $300. The Victory Leo's coming. He's going to be another $250, $300. Like, this thing's stupid expensive to have it.
And these aren't the model kits. These are just the actual
That's
figures.
right. So we've got a mixture of both here, right? So you've the Leo Prime is the model kit. Optimus Primal is a model kit. IDW Ultra Magnus is a model kit, and Bumblebee Red version is a model kit. And then you got Fallen and Victory Leo as they're super expensive,
They're the ones that come put together already.
Oh yeah, and painted and
painted,
very super awesome, and they're cool. But yeah, they're awesome. I love this line. They're doing really a lot of cool things. I can't wait to see what they do next, and I really wish they do a Tarn.
Yeah, I mean, and they are re-releasing the Tarn figure that they put out, but it's not a model kit. Yoshi, have you taken a look at any of these?
Only since you brought them up.
Oh. Well, what do you think? I mean, do you like model kits? Have you?
I do like model kits. I don't own any in Transformers form, but I really do like Cliff Jumper here. And I'm looking at the pictures of him, and particularly the one with the helicopter attachment. And I can't help but think IDW needs to run with the idea of an Inspector Gadget versus Transformers crossover. Because that would just be nuts.
He would be a pretender.
It would just be nuts. I'd read that book.
Charles, what are your thoughts on these new images?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Leo Prime or Leo Convoy looks really interesting. We talked about the Beast, the Optimus Primal one last week, and the Fallen I'm not too interested in. I kind of am. I don't understand why. I mean, the Fallen, we haven't seen him. I mean, not in this form since Dreamwave. So I wonder who this is for. The Ultra Magnus, it's just a white Optimus Prime. So I'd be more interested in like a one that looked like Ultra Magnus. And Red Bumblebee, give me Cliff Jumper or give me Death. Yeah, and then the Victory Leo, Victory Saber. Yeah, that's really cool, but super expensive, so probably not going to be able to get that. But I mean, I think Flame Toys has found a really nice niche with their model kits and their action figures, and I think they're a good addition to the overall Transformers universe. So keep them coming.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I have one more thing. At C2E2 this past weekend, I got a chance to talk with a rep from Bluefin Toys, which is the distributor. He explained the whole ownership thing. It's like Bluefin is owned by Bandai, who does the Gundam kits and stuff, but they distribute Flame Toys. So Flame Toys is not owned by Bandai, but they're distributed by a subsidiary of Bandai. But we were talking about the all the Flame Toy stuff, and I have a short clip here of my interview. And then by the time you hear this, the Donatrions will already have had access to the full interview, and then later on we'll make it available to everybody. But here's a short 1-minute clip from that interview. You just announced the Decepticon Megatron, which is pretty similar to the Autobot one, just with the Decepticon stuff.
Yeah. Some people they didn't like the fact that he had the Autobot logo. So this version is for everyone out there who likes the old classic version.
Those people need to read the comics.
Yeah, he did become an Autobot.
Yeah.
It did happen. It is canon, guys.
But you also announced a bunch of other figures, both the model kits and just the action figures.
Yes. So we have the Rodimus model kit, which I saw it in person at at Toy Fair. It looked really cool. Optimus Primal, which I haven't seen in person yet, but I've seen the photos and they look fantastic. So as a model builder myself, I'm really looking forward to those.
Yeah, Optimus Primal looks like he's ready for anything. He's weaponed up.
He looks amazing, and I can't wait to get my hands on it and start painting it and modifying it and everything.
Yeah, cool. So thanks to David Clark from Bluefin for spending some time with me. He was extremely busy at the show, and he did tell me it will be like in the interview, but he's going to be at TFCon Orlando and a bunch of anime cons. So if you go look for the Bluefin booth, they will have Flame Toy stuff there. So it's awesome. So that is everything I got this week. Yoshi, what do you got?
All right. So I got Daryl's blessing for this because, man, I wish I was on last week. So at the Melbourne Toy Fair, they showed off the action figures for Earthrise Skylinks, which to me just looks beautiful. This isn't the first time we've seen this figure. I'm sure you guys talked about it last week when New York Toy Fair was over and all those action figures came out. I was really shockingly impressed by several of them, and I told Charles that I pre-ordered a couple myself because I was that turned on by them. The rest of the figures that I was interested in, I'm just going to see if they show up on the store shelves, and I'll buy them then. But, man, Skylinks looks beautiful. I want him, and if I was in Melbourne, I would have stolen this one. Charles, how do you like Skylinks?
Skylinks looks awesome. I mean,
right?
And so my question for you, Yoshi, is are you okay with the fact that this new Skylinks is not motorized?
You bring up some disturbing questions.
Okay.
You know, if I was in the market for a G1 Skylinks, I would go get a G1 Skylinks. But I could definitely see myself instantaneously in the market for this Skylinks if I saw him on my shelf at Target. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
I'm okay he's not motorized, but I'm not going to pay that hefty fee for an original motorized one. I like the character. I don't love the character that much.
Fair enough.
Yes. Good question, though. Daryl,
Yes, sir.
are you going to get this just to compare it next to the original?
Oh God, yeah. This thing is awesome. I love it. I do have the original, and it's pretty awesome. You know, my original is motorized. It does work, and I have no problem with this new one not being motorized. The gimmick of motorized figures is, you know, it's dated, and it doesn't need to be included anymore. It would cost a fortune to motorize these things. So, you know, these commander class figures are going to be expensive enough. I don't need to add on another $30 for it to be motorized. You know, most of the stuff, you know, would come with gimmicks. You'd get a battery pack in it already, so they'd have some kind of thing, and you'd have to worry about, you know, do I open it to take the battery out if I don't want to mess with it? Or, you know, there'd be, you know, there's issues with batteries and stuff. So, but yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's great. I like that they talked to NASA and got, you know, NASA's permission to use their logo, gave it a legitimate space shuttle name. You know, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's good all around. And Skylinks was a perfect candidate for a commander class figure.
Let me ask you another question, because I tend to follow tech blogs and not toy blogs. Is anybody talking about the coronavirus and that resulting in the delay of these figures coming over?
Not that I've heard of.
Okay.
It's
curious.
definitely it
It
hasn't hit.
affects third parties more.
Yeah.
Most Hasbro stuff is made in Vietnam.
Okay. Well, Epyk. How epic is this epic figure?
I think it's pretty epic. I'm actually really excited to add it to my War for Cybertron collection when it comes out. I do really like the modes he has going on. There is the one where it's like just him really trimmed down and he has like these scrawny little chicken legs going on, if I remember correctly, and I just think that's a little goofy. But I do love like the shuttle and everything, and like you said, Daryl, the NASA, having the NASA logo is really fun and a cool thing they're able to do. But yeah, I look forward to this figure coming out and getting it and adding it to my collection. Can't wait.
Now, Jeremy, I know you've got a son. Is this what you're going to get him?
No.
God. You're heartless.
I'm not even sure if it's going to be one on by me. I'm not sure. I mean, I like it. I'm not sure if I like it $70 worth.
Oh, come on. That's an epic deal for $70.
Think of all the bots I can buy for $70.
Ooh, bots. That's a good point.
You hurt my head.
The,
All right.
the kid's obsessed with bots.
Charles, you're up. I hope it's not a bot problem.
Well, so we got lots and lots of Earthrise reveals at Toy Fair last week, but they left a couple off, and Previews World decided to show the 2 more figures, which Hasbro may. I don't know if Hasbro was okay with this, but we got 2 new figures from Previews World. It's Sunstreaker and Trailbreaker. So these are not surprising because we already had Hoist. So Trailbreaker is, of course, a mold mate with Hoist. So not surprising that we got this figure. Sunstreaker, I think a lot of people were speculating that the Runamuck and Runabout mold looked like it could be very easily turned into a Sunstreaker, and looks like it may have been. So we've got those figures now. So I'm sure lots of people will be happy with a Sunstreaker to go with their Sideswipe, although this is an Earth mode Sunstreaker to go with a Cybertronian Sideswipe, but that's probably okay since the Cybertronian Sideswipe looked pretty much like an Earth Sideswipe. But yeah, I mean, these are 2 classic G1 figures being added to the Earthrise list. And yeah, if you watch the G1 cartoon, these guys figured, Trailbreaker fairly prominently. I think Sunstreaker was only in maybe a couple early episodes. He wasn't that prominent, but these are the season 1 cast, so these are the old school guys. Epyk, are these guys being added to your War for Cybertron collection too?
Yes, absolutely. And it's really funny because I love how Sunstreaker looks, is like perfect. And I actually I think I even tried to buy like a KO of the masterpiece of this guy, and it didn't go well. Got ripped off. But, got scammed. But now that this is coming out, the thing I found with the whole War for Cybertron line is that it actually has like quelled my need to get masterpiece guys, because really all it is that I want them to look like their G1 selves and stuff like this. And so when they're coming out with these characters that actually look how they're supposed to, all of a sudden I'm excited because now I don't have to spend however much to get that masterpiece. I can just get this guy and he's perfect. I'm happy about it. But yeah, I think they're both great. I really like them.
Cool. Yeah, these guys are definitely several orders of magnitude below the masterpiece price. So $20 versus $120. I think that's a good trade-off there.
Yeah, totally.
Yoshi, what do you think of these guys? Are these suitably G1 enough for you?
No.
Okay. Care to elaborate?
It's
okay, Yoshi.
I feel like Hasbro is trying to find that nice mix of nostalgia and being cheap as hell. So,
like their hollow legs.
The hollow legs drive me nuts. The fact that the tires aren't rubber drives me nuts. And it's like they're trying to disguise the hollowness with way kind of detailed plastic with just needless lines and carvings or whatever the fuck you want to call it. From straight on, they don't look half bad, but I think once you turn and look at them from any other angle, it would bother me immensely.
I can see that because it is super. It does seem dumb because you turn them sideways and then it's like, oh, I can see into your leg and see into your arm, and even sometimes the guns are hollow and stuff. So
yeah.
I totally can get that for sure.
I'm not dissing anybody that wants to get these. Hasbro seems to realize that the G1 market is there, but and I'm sure they're trying to hit a certain price point so that their CEOs don't have to take a pay cut. But it's, I don't know.
CEOs never take a pay cut.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I don't know. It's. Why the fuck I'm okay with Skylinks and not this? There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just I'm not okay with this, Charles. Get off my back.
Okay. Jeremy, what do you think of these guys?
I like them. I don't like the hollow legs, particularly Sunstreaker's legs. I hate when they do this where the leg is kind of hidden in the open space in the vehicle mode, and then once you expand it out and you just cover it up with a panel, you still have that big hole there. And it seems like there could be some way to have another panel on the side. I don't know, some way to wrap around so you don't have this big gaping hole there. But the overall look of the toys I like. The vehicles I think look spot on. And I don't know, I think I would probably, if I didn't already have 2 of the Siege side swipes, I'd probably get the Sunstreaker, but I don't know. And I like them overall, though.
You have 2 Siege side swipes?
I have a red one and a black one.
Ah, okay.
Does everyone not?
I have 0 Siege side swipes, so you're beating me.
It sucks to be you. I still need to get the add-on kit to give the bandolier and stuff with a good G2 side swipe.
All right, Daryl, do the gaps bother you too?
A little, but then that's why I do buy Masterpiece stuff. That's because if my Masterpiece stuff came with all the gappiness, then I would be really upset. But these are great figures, and I've talked about it before with regards to other figures, but the alt mode for Sunstreaker is essentially the same alt mode that they gave to Siege Sideswipe, but it transforms completely differently. And that kind of engineering
G1 accuracy
blows my mind, and I love it. So it's just it's a little bit more hard angles on this one because it's supposed to be Earth instead of Cybertronian modes, but it's the same damn car mode, right? If I were allowed to add one thing to it, is I would have given the alt mode for Sunstreaker a spoiler, because it just looks kind of like it just drops off the back there and there's nothing, whereas the G1 version has a little bit more junk in the trunk, if you want to put it that, put it street.
No.
Is that not what the kids say anymore?
The kids 30 years ago? When you were a kid?
I'm hip. I know what's going on.
He's still a kid at heart.
Is showing.
Yeah. I know what's going on, Charles. But yeah, no, I like it. I think it's great. I like the engineering. It works. And yeah, the Trailbreaker is, like you said, it's a mold mate, so it works. And I really do. I like the design. The gappiness is a little bit funky, but it works. It works. So I'm not really going to give it too much. I'm comparing this to the Trailbreaker that we got in Generations, the IDW Trailbreaker, right? And I mean, first of all, the figure itself is bigger, right? So that's a change, you know, in and of itself. The deluxe size point went up instead of down, and it looks more G1 than the previous incarnation. But yeah, I mean, I'm for it. It's the main line, right? You're not going to get, you know, the best of the best of the best out of the main line. It's just going to be average. It's going to be good, you know.
All right. Well, that's all our toy topics, and we will finish up the toy section with rapid fire toys.
Absolutely, positively, definitely. Nobody can get the job done faster than I can. Nobody.
All right, and with it being the first day of March when we're recording this, that means we're going to do the Toy Hacks February update. And with this update, we got a lot of new stuff, especially for Siege. And starting up the Siege updates for labels from Toy Hacks, we've got Astro Train is getting a ton of stuff. That's a big figure, needs a lot of new stickers, and he comes with it. So take a look at that if you're looking for Astro Train. If you've picked up Crosshairs, then take a look at the new set for Crosshairs. A lot of new details being added to this figure, finding new ways to differentiate it from the Ratchet and the Ironhide mold. Next up is Rat Bat and Rumble. So a couple of these, you know, little tape guys, they add a lot of detail and make them look a lot more like tapes. If you get the sticker set for these two little dudes, they're fun and I like them. I might pick those up if I can find these damn things. I can't find Rat Bat and Rumble anywhere. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. So next up is Power Dasher Chromar. Power Dasher figure, so he's got some interesting labels. A lot of people don't really know him from being an early G1 figure. He was a mail away. Yeah, these labels definitely add some characterization and some detail to him. So pick that up if you've got him as well. And lastly, from Siege is Hound. And if you've got the this isn't from Siege. This is for MP47 Hound. I got this labeled wrong. A bunch of new labels for him, giving him a lot of new detail work, make him look a lot more G1 accurate. Cell-shaded windows. All their Masterpiece stuff comes with cell-shaded windows now. If you're into that, you don't have to use them, but they look pretty damn good. In the third-party market, Toy Hacks has finished off the label sets for their Unique Toys Combaticons, and this is the label set for Onslaught, Calicos, and he is looking pretty cool. I really like the way that they have put some the details, giving him details for his Bruticus mode as well. But yeah, it looks pretty awesome. And the last piece of the Bruticus or the Combaticons from Unique Toys is Archimond, and that's their Brawl. Yeah, he's also pretty cool. They give him a bunch of I would say it's not really gold. It's more just an off green or a bit more of an army green to kind of make it look a little bit more tankish. A cool set that they did this month was from Cyberverse, and it's for their Gnaw figure. So they did actually 2 different sets. So if you wanted to get one, it'll give you a Gnaw set for make them look a little bit more like a G1 Gnaw. Or if you wanted to get the second set, it kind of changes the colors up a little bit. So if you got a couple of them or a few of them, then you can have a bit of a Gnaw army. I don't know anyone who would do that, but maybe somebody out there likes Gnaw enough to buy a bunch of sets. And lastly, we've got new additions to the Toy Hacks Armory. And if you remember, we talked about this before. Toy Hacks has started creating their replacement weapons for their G1 figures. So if you've got G1 figures out there that are missing weapons and you can't find them and you really don't want to spend the aftermarket prices, I know I've been there. Some weapons just cost an arm and a leg. So what they've done is they're starting to 3D print replica weapons, and it really does help on the budget. So the first weapon they're adding this month is for G1 Gnaw, and it's a gun. It's for Gnaw. It's definitely not the most valuable piece of that figure. The The mace or the tail is pretty hard to come by and very expensive. So if they want to add that, I won't be upset. Next up, they add the gun for G1 Rekgar, and that's also a pretty cool weapon to have. And yeah, it's pretty hard to find. I think if they could reprint or print off rubber tires to go around that second wheel, just to have the rubber is pretty hard to find. And then Grapple's gun is the third piece that they're adding to the armory for this month. Grapple's gun is the same as Inferno's, so you can use it for either one. So, but yeah, the armory is a pretty cool thing that they've just started to do over at Toy Hacks, and I really like to see them develop this a little bit more, and can't wait to see how vast it gets, because a lot of these G1 accessories are really starting to become hard to get, and being 30, 35 years old, it's they're not getting any easier to find. But that's it. That's it for Rapid Fire Toys, and throw it back to you, Charles.
All right. Tom B. Long has lots of new choices to pick from with his Toy Hacks $10 gift code that he won this week. So, All right. We will move on to some trips to the store. This is where we show off all the awesome Transformers merchandise we got this week. We do this as a YouTube video, so you can see everything we got in beautiful high definition. But we'll keep the audio right here in the podcast so you can keep listening and hear it as we describe everything in loving detail. So without further ado, trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
So let's start off with Yoshi. I'm going to go to you.
Sure.
This is your first show of 2020, so I'm sure you've got lots of Christmas presents to show off, right? Transformers Christmas presents? Yeah?
No.
Oh. Well.
I actually I got my kid Transformers. But after Christmas, yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I found what is claimed to be the world's smallest Transformers action figure.
Ooh.
And the glare is phenomenal, Joe. So apparently he comes out of his pack, and he's got a little stand, so he stands up.
I don't think he actually transforms.
I don't know if he's the smallest, but no, he does not transform. There is a Bumblebee and a Starscream version I have not located. And this thing caught me completely unawares. I didn't know it was coming out. I'm sure Daryl did, but I didn't.
We've talked about it on the show.
In that huge packaging?
That's just that brand.
So you could read the name of the company that fucking put it out.
And so you can really see how small it is.
Yeah.
And so you can't steal it.
They do a whole series of these. I mean, they've done Hot Wheels, they've done G.I. Joes, they've done a bunch of fucking figures. But this was pretty neat, and I insta-buyed it. So
That's super awesome.
It shouldn't be confused with the actual world's smallest Transformers line from the early 2000s. That did transform.
Those do transform, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wondered that.
And then the Soundwave one comes with a Ravage that's even tinier that does transform.
Fuck.
Yeah. I've shown it off on the show before.
Does it go into Soundwave?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I feel too Fuck.
Like, it is like literally like smaller than a fingernail.
Holy cow.
And you've lost it. That's why you're not showing it, which makes sense.
It
got vacuumed up.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all I got, Charles.
All right, Jeremy, what do you got?
A Ravage, apparently, and it's like wee small.
I have a few things. Since we didn't do trips to the store last week, I didn't didn't show off some comics. I got Transformers number 17, Livio cover, I believe. I got the Sarah Peter Drochet retail incentive cover of the Valentine's Day special.
Cosmos.
Yoshi's Boy Cosmos. Transformer-wise, I got a toy that Daryl wouldn't let me show off last week. I got Ironworks, and I have him in his kind of base mode here, but this is like extreme parts former, but it's awesome how it works with just the different ramp pieces. I don't know. I love this guy. There's so many different fan modes I've seen online with this thing, with like people just getting a bunch of them and like building these massive structures and stuff. And oops, it does come apart easy, but
It's broken.
I don't know. It's really fun. Yeah, Ironworks is a win. I want to get more of these little bases, like the Airwave that we talked about at Toy Fair and
Grease Pit.
Grease Pit. Yeah, this is not Transformers, but I think it's too awesome to show off. I got this at C2E2. I'll take it out of the case so it won't be so glary. This is a Batman print I got from Claudio Castanelli. He's an Italian artist that lives in Spain, and he does work for DC. He did a book with Marv Wolfman that I got that came out last year, and I just think this Batman is just awesome. So that's all I got right now. I have something else I got at C2E2, but I didn't bring it up with me. So,
Jeremy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is the comic book behind you crooked?
Because the little 3M sticky thing is coming out.
Oh, you better fix that or else it'll fall and get wrecked.
It's been crooked for a couple weeks.
So why didn't you notice earlier, Daryl?
Oh, I've noticed the entire time. I've been waiting.
All right, Epyk, since you're new to the show, you can pick anything from your collection that you'd like to show off, whatever. Or if you got something recently, too.
I did actually go to the store recently, the dollar store, so it's not that exciting. But the dollar store was selling the little minifigure guys. So I went and collected all 6 of the guys that they had available going on. Oh, cool. So you've got, let's see, we got Optimus here. And I'm sorry, this is very tiny. So a little Optimus, little Bumblebee. And then Grimlock is the only one who's in his alt mode. Because obviously a dinosaur's cooler if you can have that option. Then they had a Megatron, a Starscream, and then Soundwave, who they put his cannon on the wrong shoulder. So, okay. The other thing I picked up, my second thing, was a fun little sticker pack. Actually, I was super excited to see. And it's got all sorts of different of the Windblade and Bumblebee and stuff like that, Grimlock, Optimus. But what I'm most excited about is that I got my shipment in of the Transformers trading card game Soundwave Burst Blaster pack, and the glare is there. There we go.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, so I've fallen behind on my collection on that, and so I'm trying to get back into it, and this I had to have Soundwave. So went and got that. So that's my trip to the store.
Very cool. Are you do you play the trading card game, or are you just collecting the cards?
I was in the beginning playing it and stuff, but I've been too busy lately to keep up with playing it and everything. So at the moment, it's more like I'm just trying to keep up on the collection of it, but then always have plans to play it at some point again.
Nice.
Yeah.
There will be opportunities at TFCon.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'll go next. I've got a lot of things similar to what Jeremy had. I've got comics, Transformers Galaxies number 4. I've got Transformers number 17. And from Livio Remendelli, a friend of the show, the Kill Lock number 3. It's not Transformers, but it's his creator-owned comic about robots. So it's Transformers adjacent. He's a well-known Transformers artist. So
it's really a fucking good story so far.
Yeah. And this is issue 3. There's 3 more issues after this, so it's cool. And I did want to show off. This is a toy I got back at TFCon 2019. This is
finally
Alicon. So we have the official Alicons were just announced at Toy Fair last week. So I had to open this one up just to play around with it to see how it compared. I think this guy looks much more like the movie Alicon from Transformers the movie, but he's also very spiky. Like I would not give this toy to a kid to play with because they would hit their eye out or something. Like these things are very sharp. There's spikes all over this guy, and yeah, I'm afraid to play with it myself. It's very spiky, but it is a cool figure, very well articulated. Does look very much like the movie version. I think I am going to get the official Alicon just to compare it, but I think this guy's alligator mode is much better than the official Alicon. But he's more dangerous. He's spikier. So, yeah, that's what I got. All right, Daryl, you're up.
All right. I do have a couple comics as well. This is Transformers 17. This is the other cover. I don't remember who did this one. But yeah, it's the Megatron yellow cover.
Casey?
Brendan Cahill.
Nope.
Brendan Cahill, I think.
Oh, is it Brendan? Okay. And then I got Galaxies number 4. This is Sarah Peter de Roche's cover. This one's pretty awesome. Yeah, so I got those. As far as figures this week, I got a bunch of stuff. I spent a lot of money this week, so I'm actually spending sparsing it out over a couple shows because I spent like $250 this week on stuff, so it's got to last me. This is Scavenger. This is part of Devastator. This is one of the 2 leader figures. He's massive. And I'm not opening these guys until I get all 8 of them. So this guy will stay like this and maybe forever if I never find all the rest of them. So yeah, but yeah, he's cool. He's big. And I always remember being at Fan Expo last year when they announced this guy. So that's kind of kind of awesome that I've seen the full loop on him. Next up, while I was buying him, I saw this one. This is Soundwave, Studio Series Soundwave number 51. This guy makes a really awesome Mercedes-Benz SL. I think it's an SL 500 or something like that. It's an AMG version of the car, so it's a pretty cool car. The robot mode looks awesome too, so I'm pretty hyped for that. So yeah, I bought this one. I have the it was a harder to find Dark of the Moon version of Soundwave, so I do have that one. It's still sealed. It's just on my wall here. So, but yeah, this one I'll open up and mess around with, seeing it's a little bit more easier to get access to. It does have a laser beak in there as well. Can't really see him, but he's just on the side there, so there's a little laser beak in there too. But yeah, this guy looks really awesome, and I'm looking forward to messing with him. I found a bunch of Earthrise this week, so that's what I'm really kind of just sparsing out. First up was Deluxe Cliff Jumper. He's awesome. I really like this guy. He's really well articulated. He's got a bunch of angles and joints in his knees and his legs, full on knee or ankle tilts. He does have a backpack that comes off, so you're actually getting a very similar kind of a feel to what the RC is going to be like, although this one pegs in on the back and can basically disappear, but it's full on parts for me. So yeah, that's something there. But the gun itself, this big cannon, is from an episode, but it does break apart. So you get the 2 little miniature, personal, single-handed guns. Then these little stands for his, giant, cannon, they'll actually come off and they become the skis that'll go in underneath his tires for his alt mode. And then you got this black piece at the back, which I only, I opened it today, so I don't really know what it turns into, but it does do something, so that's kind of neat too. So I really like this guy. Cliff Jumper is pretty awesome. And the other one I got this week for you is Hoist. So
nice.
So yeah, so Hoist, he's enormous by comparison. These are both deluxes, and
wow,
they're a big difference, right? Wow. So Hoist comes with no accessories whatsoever, except for this little cone on his hand, which he had in the cartoon, he only had the one hand anyway, right? So you just kind of put this on there. You have to take it off for transformation, so that's why you kind of leave it. But yeah, he's got a lot going on here as well. But yeah, as far as our accessories go, there's really nothing here. The thing that kind of I thought was interesting is on his back, he's got the same kind of thing that his G1 counterpart had was the little ramp or the tow truck mode thing. But if you look on there, it's actually got the hooks for the ramps. So they're really leaning into this ramp thing. So I don't know how you're going to hook or how you're really going to make that play pattern of a tow truck hooking into of a road or a ramp, but
you can make it longer so it can carry a bigger car.
Maybe, yeah, sure. So that's kind of neat. But it just tucks away on his back, and yeah, the transformation for this guy was pretty easy. Nothing really too upsetting on there. The back of his legs are fully gappy, but he does have ankle tilts built into his legs, right? So
Lisa has
so
that.
That's there. Yeah, I mean, it's something, but yeah, I mean, for the size of this figure, I'm impressed. This is deluxe, right? So this is crazy. This is like at least, I don't know what's American measurements, at least an inch bigger than the last one. So yeah, I fully recommend the hoist mold. But yeah, that's it. That's what I got for a show this week.
All right, well, that'll do it for Trips to the Store this week.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
All right, we're back from our trips to the store, and let's move on with convention news.
All right, only one thing this week. They have announced that the Shizuoka Hobby Show 2020 in Japan has been canceled due to the coronavirus. The Japanese government has put in new regulations for meetings and conventions in order to reduce the impact. So I'm sure Takara was going to have a big display of all the upcoming figures. So I'm sure they'll release the images somewhere else or something. It's just another, like a number of other conventions in like the tech sector and stuff have been canceled because of this. So this is like one of the first big toy ones. That is it for convention news this week.
All right, and we will finish up the show with feedback.
That's right, Charles. And if you guys would like to leave us feedback, head on over to transmissionspodcast.com/feedback. There you can leave us a MySpace or a Google Plus message. Let us know what you think of the show.
Yoshi, both
Yes.
of those sites are not existent anymore.
Son of a bitch. When's the last time I was on? What are we using now? Friendster?
We'll talk off mic, Yoshi.
Okay,
we'll get
let's
you
do
up to
that.
speed.
Until then, somebody will post my P.O. box somewhere to get questions
Just
sent in.
keep up with your PS2 community.
Says the guy who doesn't own a PS2.
I do own a PS2.
Fuck you. We're going to YouTube, where we have a message from Paolo, who writes, "The podcast is cool. Paolo, you're off to a great start. I think you should stop there." But he continues, "But at least you guys could upload photos of the things you guys are talking about. Like, this is really hard to enjoy." I assume what he's saying is it's really hard to enjoy what we're talking about when we don't show slides or anything of what we're talking about on the podcast. Jeremy?
Podcasting is hard.
Yeah, I think we've got a volunteer to do that, is what it sounds like.
Well, if you were a Donatreon and could listen to our live recordings, like a number of people do, you would understand particularly tonight, the number of technical issues we've had.
There's no we in you.
I've actually been, I didn't tonight, but in recent weeks, I've been like playing with doing this as we're talking, not like doing it live, but I've been like, as we've been going, I've been like recording a video with showing like browser windows and stuff. It is hard to do that and to also talk. And I'm sure a lot of times when you see it on YouTube, it's either all done in post, which means time that I don't have, or they have people that help do it live. So it's hard. It's something we want to get to, but
it's a time consuming extra.
Yeah, our primary audience is audio podcasting. So, we appreciate you listening on YouTube, but yeah, we upload the stuff to YouTube, but our primary mode of distribution is the audio podcast.
And Our website does have links to all the things we talk about in our show notes. So
yeah, we do have extensive show notes.
Yeah, if you go to our website and look it up there.
But Jeremy, if a Paolo or somebody else wants to volunteer, kind of like Mike does, are we open to that?
I mean, we're open to talk, but it's a time-consuming process, so we would need to work it out. So, yeah, I mean, I'm open to anyone that wants to help.
So if that's something you as a listener are interested in, send an email to Daryl at transmissionspodcast.com, and we'll forward that to the right people.
Yeah.
Jeremy, it also sounds like we've got a voicemail from Kashi.
We do.
What the hell?
G'day, Transmissions. Kashi here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'd like to address the ugliness of last week's Windblade model kit controversy. First of all, after listening to both you guys and Moonbase 2 this week, I'd like to note that I've only heard commentary from dudes. There haven't been any women at all. I can't speak to any of the other podcasts, but there has not been a single female voice addressing this. I think I would like to hear more women on Transmissions, especially in regard to this, because most of the objections about this sexualized figure or the unrealistic female body image that, most of those complaints have been from women. Secondly, as far as I'm aware, this online harassment campaign that was taken up, it was led by someone from outside the fandom. So this, I guess, YouTube-based outrage machine seemed to have take up with women expressing an opinion. I did see a bit more of it even last night. And it mostly came from outside the fandom, and I don't think enough attention was paid to that. It was extremely worrying that this happened. Lastly, least importantly, is my opinion. To paraphrase the movie Hot Fuzz, it's not really in keeping with the other model kit's rustic aesthetic. Perhaps Flame Toys meant this to be controversial. This one doesn't fit in, as I was saying earlier. Anyway, I love the Transformers fandom's inclusiveness. I'd really like to... basically, I'm sure there's plenty of female fans out there that are going to comment on this, and their voices are more important than mine. One thing I want to say is just this kind of harassment is deeply troubling, and I don't want to see it continue in the Transformers fandom. All right, thanks. Bye.
All right, Kashi, thanks for your comments. Now, Epyk, you're a woman.
Sure am.
Do you feel like you're in a position to comment on this?
Yeah, I've actually thought a lot about it. I do feel like, in a way, though, my opinion might be dismissed or overlooked on this subject, though, because since I am a nude model, it seems like, well, I'm already for this type of sexualization and stuff. But really, I'm actually quite conservative. I grew up conservative and I'm currently married and all this stuff, and I have no problem with it, honestly. I really love the figure and find her beautiful, and I don't really understand why there seems to be this thought that a woman is either like very sexy but yet like maybe bimboish or something, but then on the other side you have a smart and cunning woman. But I don't understand what is wrong with having those two overlap, because to me, when I was a little girl, I loved Sandy from Grease. And I didn't love good Sandy. I loved when she came out in her black leather pants and her cool hair all done and stuff. And I loved it so much that I went out and had my mom buy me a pair of black leather pants because I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And so as a young girl, I remember looking up to strong, sexy female characters, and I don't feel like it had any negative impact on me. I thought it was really cool that you could be super beautiful but yet be strong, smart, and independent and all that stuff. And so that would be like my first point on it. I don't know if you guys have anything to say to that. I don't know. I don't actually know any of your guys' thoughts on this figure.
I mean, we talked a little bit about it last week. Just from my point of view, for me personally, it's the design was not something that I that I was interested in, but I was fine. I'm fine with the figure. For people who like that figure and who like the design, that's fine.
Yeah.
What I had issue with was it felt like it was a little bit of a double standard where like none of the male Transformer figures are ever like super sexualized like that, and like
I don't know that I would agree with that, though, because, like, the IDW comics and stuff, some of their drawings and characterization of the male Transformers, I think they're, like, super cool dude looking, and, like, I don't necessarily get off on, like, how the dude looks. It's always more the personality. So the personalities they put into these male characters, along with how they're drawn, I end up finding that attractive and stuff. So, in a way, they do sexualize the male characters.
Okay, I mean that's definitely something that never like struck me when I look at any of the characters in the IDW line. But fair enough.
Yeah.
It's definitely
the thing is I mean, most girls, it's not like we're attracted to junk genitalia of sort. It's like it's really the generally obviously how a guy looks helps and stuff, but personality does play a big role in what appeals to us. And so the way they write these characters, and they got like the big broad chest and the slim down waist and stuff like that, they do make them look at least in my to me I feel like they service women as much as they service men. And they actually in this, it's funny because this fandom is mostly male dominated, so it makes complete sense to me that they would want to market a character or, have the feminine characters. Because I have a few points about this. So, like, when I looked at the model kit for the first time when I saw it, I didn't know there was necessarily all this, like, outrage about it. But I just saw a woman. To me, that body looks very similar to some girls I know and stuff. Like, it has boobs and butts, and I don't know, like, why we have such a hard time, like, accepting female anatomy. How else would you make a character look feminine versus looking masculine? Because you do want a difference. And I guess, unfortunately, the assets that make a woman stand apart are her boobs and her butt. And so I would expect to see that or some indication of it on a character. And I did also pull up some IDW comic covers of Windblade, and from what I saw, this Flame Toys kit isn't that far off from what some of those covers make her look like. Like, to me, it's just another stylized version of Windblade, because that is what it is. It's a stylized model kit. And I don't know that all this outrage around it. I mean, I totally get that it's not some people's things. That I'm fine with. But where I do start to have a problem with is like the aggression around it. Because in my last interview I had with Daryl, we talked about, like, did I ever feel any pushback from the community? And my answer was no. I've never have. I've always felt very welcomed and stuff. But now this is kind of a weird spot where I don't actually feel that accepted, but not because I'm a woman, but because I like this toy. Like, all of a sudden, you see people online saying, if you support this toy, you're not a true Transformers fan, or you're like, you're just kind of a bad person for liking it. And
it's the binariness of society where if you don't agree with me, then every opinion you have is invalid.
Right, and I wish we could get away from that, because you're allowed to disagree with people. I wish that we could get to a point where it's like, I disagree, and it's like, all right, that's cool, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, like it.
My view of the figure is it's a very stylized, typical anime-looking figure, and my biggest issue with the figure is that it's not Windblade enough. Like, the wings aren't prominent enough.
I did
my
look into that, and since it's a stylized version, I know they left the wings off, but it's supposed to just be her bow. It's like supposed to represent her geisha bow and stuff more, so that's why they opted to leave the wings off.
Right, and there is like that is a Japanese style of figure, and it's not for me, and that's fine. It's for other people that like it.
Yeah, totally. And the other thing I'd like to just point out is, like, I think as fans, our opinions are all equal. I don't necessarily care for the idea that because this is a woman character, all of a sudden my opinion because I'm a woman matters more. I wish we could all just view ourselves as we're fans. We are fans of this. We're in this together. And we should all have a say. And you can say if you don't like it and whatever, and if you like it or you don't like it. But what really puts me off is the idea that because you don't like it, you now want it canceled and you're going to keep me from being able to get it. I don't like the call to have it canceled because I feel like if there's enough people in the fandom who dislike something, like it completely goes against what the fandom loves, then it would make sense that the fans would not buy it. It would not be bought. It would not get supported. And then they would know, the companies would know, hey, this didn't work and we should change how we decide to sell our stuff or how we design things. But instead, people are calling to have it canceled. And I disagree with that mentality. I don't think it's fair that because you don't like something, you're going to keep me from being able to enjoy it. When in the end, it's just a figure on my shelf. It doesn't actually affect you. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
I think all of that is totally reasonable and correct, and I agree with everything you're saying there. The other problem I see, though, is we also have the backlash to the backlash, where on the other side, the people who are angry about people complaining about that figure then want to hit back, and then it escalates to some harassment and sending death threats and things like that, and that goes way over the line as well. So I think
I mean, certainly a Transformer model kit is nothing's ever okay to send a death threat over or be insulting about and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I do think everyone on both sides is a little sensitive, though, because I feel like for some reason, there is a line between me critiquing why you hate something versus me harassing you for hating something. And so I do think that line gets blurred sometimes. I certainly know that there was harassment that happened and everything, but I do wish we could acknowledge that if you disagree with something and I want to ask you why and stuff, we should be able to have a discussion about it and not turn into harassment and yelling at each other and stuff. I do think that's very sad and unfortunate that it got to where it was. But I feel like what really started it, was people got really defensive at the idea that people were trying to have it canceled. Like, why? It comes back to that point of, why are you trying to cancel a thing? If you don't like it, don't buy it. And, I really believe in that. Companies should be able to make things. If people don't buy it, then that sucks for them and they'll learn their lesson. Also, it is from a different market too. And, I don't know. I do really like the figure, and I think it's kind of silly that we try to pretend like guys aren't attracted to a feminine shape. I mean, sure, there's going to be dudes who don't want this figure for whatever reason and stuff, but at the end of the day, it is a male-dominated fandom, and it makes sense that they would put out... It's because this is for adults, too. This model kit is for adults. They're trying to target, for the most part, adult males. So to have it be a feminine character or a feminine shape makes complete sense to me. And I think, like I said, I think it's gorgeous. And for that reason, I want it. I look at it, I think it's awesome. But on the other hand, it's reasons why I don't want the Victorion or Strong Arm figure, because those, to me, I don't think they're actually that cool. And they're just they're supposed to be, or they're girl Transformers, but I look at them and I'm like, I personally am like, I wish you were more feminine, because otherwise you just look like any regular bot, I guess you could say. So I don't know. To me, it is a fantasy world where fantasy characters. I like the artists can express themselves. I think it's a form of art. It is a a stylized version of the character. And like I said, I personally really love it. I really do think it's cool. And I totally get why maybe other people wouldn't. I just would say don't buy it.
I think, I commented last week, but I think my thoughts are pretty close to Epyk's. Mine were more based on the figures coming from a different market, and it's don't think about it. Try not to think about it with your culture's sensibilities, right?
Too, she is a geisha, and it is from the Japanese culture, and so she is generally a more sexualized person, being a geisha and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My other point would be too is that this isn't the only figure that exists of this character too. That's what's so great about this world, is that we have so many options for other third-party people to come in and make figures that people want and care about. That's why I really believe the just don't get it mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Epyk, thank you very much. I really appreciate your point of view on this.
Yeah.
And if anybody else, male or other, want to leave us a voicemail and follow up, please do.
Male or other.
We're inclusive, Charles. Why do you have to bring us down?
Well, do you have thoughts on it?
I don't want to sound like a broken record. What you're saying sounds a lot like, you hate censorship, and I truly hate censorship, and you let the dollar decide.
Yeah.
I don't. I had a conversation, a short one with the guys on Discord about this, about like what started this, because I didn't understand where it started from and what was the context in which it started. Because to say, I don't like this and I'm going to set up a petition, does anybody agree with me, is one way. To do it in another way that it's just begging for an outlash from the online community,
right?
It's a whole nother thing. And based on what I was able to find, I still can't put a note on how that started.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it even got to the point of any petition or anything. I think people were just complaining loudly on Twitter. I don't think anyone led a campaign to get it taken down or anything like that. I complain
on Twitter too, and the world doesn't come down my throat. So the question, to me, the question is, how was the complaining conducted? I mean, it's one thing to say, golly, this sucks.
Mm-hmm. I also... oh, sorry.
No, I go off on several different tangents. You're welcome to interrupt.
Oh, sorry.
Do it. You go.
I have a problem too where it seems to be a very common... I'm kind of passionate about this because I do love my ladies sexy. I love having strong, sexy female character leads that I've, like I said, since I was a kid, I've looked up to. And lately...
It's like we're twins.
Lately, they've just been... keep being removed from everything, right? Video games and stuff, and now Transformers, and it's kind of frustrating because it kind of makes me feel like, well, there are people, I almost have like this body type. I got the boobs and the butt, but somehow I'm not okay. My body type is not okay. It's sexual, and it really frustrates me because what is wrong with beautiful women and stuff? And so these, especially over toys, but what bothers me is that when an artist creates this, all of a sudden they're somehow misogynist or sexist, and I just don't see why those two are linked like that, because instead I view it as the artist sees the beauty behind it and wants to just show the beauty of the person, their character they're making. That name calling that comes with it, usually in these situations where the person, where they may say that the creator of this was misogynist, and it's like, to me that's not okay either. You shouldn't just label someone something just because you're upset about how they depicted a character that they obviously are passionate about and care about. So it goes both ways, both sides. You know, we shouldn't just be calling each other names just because we're mad about stuff. We're adults. We should be able to have discussions and actually talk about what are your concerns and are they valid.
But is that going to, having that discussion, I don't see how that's going to appease the people who are, you know, quote unquote offended by these type of figures or this type of art.
No, I know, but a discussion is more beneficial than just yelling at each other and just like
death threatening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't exactly think that I don't. In these situations, a discussion's not going to matter because the company's going to do what they're going to do, you know. But I just mean like, if you say you hate it because it sexualizes women, but then I come through and say I don't think it does, but then you're going to tell me that I'm
your opinion doesn't count.
Yeah, my opinion doesn't count. It's like, why? Because it's the wrong one? Like that's where it bothers me, because I don't get why the one opinion is, you know, one opinion is absolutely right and the other one you're just a crappy person, you know. I had a debate about if I should post that I wanted to buy this figure, because I don't know, I don't like necessarily getting involved in drama and all this stuff, but I felt it was important that I voiced that I do think this figure is fine. I think she's really cool. And once you see her painted too, like when you see her not painted, everything really stands out and stuff, right? But when I saw like someone did a painted version of it, it really comes together very well.
Yeah, it's fuck. Where do I start? Okay, censorship. It's bad. I don't like it. I don't think they should censor it. Mm-hmm. You know, I could see the argument being made for, you know, a future TF Con. Which is, I believe, a family convention. Like, because these figures will be there. Like, okay, how do we keep the under 14s from looking at it, or what should they do, if anything, to just be like, well, it's a behind the shelf item. If you want to look at it before you buy it, you ask so and so.
I mean, to be clear, this is not anything. This is not porn level of the figure. Is not like,
no, it's just a girl body.
Yeah, it's not a crazy. I mean, where I make the distinction is that like when I look at the other IDW figures, they look more like what they look like in the comics, and for me personally, it just doesn't look like what Windblade looked like in the comics. And like, I feel like you know, if that would be the design that I was looking for. But I think it's fine to make that design, and if people want to buy it, they can buy it. But I also think it's fine to complain about it. If you don't like it, you can say you don't like it. I mean,
I think it's fine to say that you don't like it, but it's then not okay to say that people who do like it are sexist or whatever. I don't think that is okay.
Yeah, that's and totally agree with you there. I mean, I think people can like what they like, and I think it's fine to like this as well. I mean, and so. What I think is a problem is when we get to the point where we can't just say whether we like or don't like it, but we have to say, yeah, you're evil for liking this, or you're evil for not liking this and not wanting to get it, and I think that's, and then to the point where, you know, you're saying this, you know, I'm judging your entire being based on whether you like or don't like this toy or this model. So yeah,
and I could imagine somebody saying that online would result in a huge firestorm.
Right.
Like, okay, you don't like it, don't tell me what my opinion should be.
Yes. In the end, I just really think people should just view it like, well, this just isn't for me, and go ahead, you can say that, you can say it's not for you, but I don't think it's then fair to label people who do like it and try to like put them down for liking something just because you don't. That's really my thoughts on it.
Like Charles did earlier when I liked Outlander.
I just said my mom liked it too, Yoshi. I wasn't putting you down. I'm not putting my mom down.
Okay.
She likes it.
We're still friends. It's okay.
I think we can close this discussion and move on.
All right. Thank you so much, Epyk. I think your opinion really meant a lot, and it did mean a lot. And fuck, I can't do it. I just can't fucking say anything tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Epyk, for commenting on that. I really appreciate it. We all appreciated it. So next we'll go to email, where Matt wrote in, "Love the podcast. Keep up the good work." We will, Matt. We absolutely will. Thank you for your email. We really appreciate it. It strengthens our mana and keeps us going.
We don't get a lot of emails, so when one gets sent in, I think we should acknowledge them.
It's like a fucking Google Plus message. It just never happens anymore. And that's it for feedback, Charles.
All right, and that will do it for this episode of Transmissions. Epyk, thank you for joining us this week. And if you want to give us any plugs, links, this is your time to tell everyone where they should go to check out your stuff, and we'll put links in the show notes so everyone can find it.
All right. You can check me out at epyksuicide.com. All my links are available there.
Awesome.
And that's Epyk Suicide.
And we will definitely put that in the show notes as well. So if anyone has trouble finding it, they should just go there.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. So that will do it for Transmissions. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Well, I'm recording. The window was like under something else, so I was like thinking I got it when it changed. It'll be fine. Mike will love it.
I'm just going to say gross. Are you eating?
No.
Okay. Sounded like you were eating something. Are you eating your Skylinks?
Yes, I got a Skylinks and I'm eating it.
God, only a doctor. Charles, you're going to need a smaller chair, dude.
Remember when he got that chair?
It's a regular size chair.
Well, you're now smaller than a regular person. Okay.
Out in the boonies.
She's almost Canadian.
Not that far out in the boonies.